what I consider, what I just saw, to be a thrilling update, hypothetically speaking, well, I like to lean towards yes, hypothetically, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. And the reason why is because something called Kite AI, basically, just went live on mainnet. And of course, we're talking about Avalanche. The thing is this allegedly, right, is the first AI blockchain on Avalanche that's focused on payments. That's the thing. So when people like to say, who cares about this? Well, we have to think about this, right? When it comes to Kite, apparently they were backed by PayPal Ventures. Keep in mind, that's pretty massive at the end of the day. So when people like to say, who cares about this? Well, I think, PayPal probably cares about that, right? Or should I say PayPal Ventures more specifically? But I'm just saying, still, when I take a look at, let's say in the case of this right here, I wouldn't say it's a bad achievement at all in the grand scheme of things. Avalanche, after all, is one of the most popular layer 1 blockchains out there. Is it as popular as Solana? Absolutely not. But I'm just saying, still, it's a pretty impressive achievement at the end of the day, personally for me. Not to mention, if we take a look at it, they say that this launch follows a massive testnet phase that processed 1.9 billion interactions. I think that's pretty, I guess, amazing when I saw that, right? And also, they say that strategic pilots are currently underway with PayPal and Shopify to bridge agentic workflows with global retail and payment infrastructure. And of course, this is in regard to Kite deploying its layer 1 mainnet on Avalanche. And then that was kind of stated below. So yeah, when I take a look at something like this, I think it's pretty impressive at the end of the day. And, if we take a look at Shopify, that's really massive, right? So when people like to tell me that, oh, when it comes to Avalanche, nothing's going on. Well, okay, if they don't want to consider this as something that's quote unquote going on, let's take a look at the 3 spot Avalanche ETFs in the US, 2 of which are on NASDAQ and the other one is on the New York Stock Exchange. So what? Avalanche is cooked? I just don't think about it that way, at least as a layer 1 blockchain. Keep in mind, we saw already VanEck Avalanche ETF. That's on NASDAQ. We saw Grayscale's Avalanche ETF on NASDAQ. So that's 2. And then we saw also Bitwise's Avalanche ETF on the New York Stock Exchange. So what? Avalanche is cooked? I mean, okay, sure. Is it doing the best in terms of the charts? Absolutely not. I'm totally aware of that. But at the end of the day, my time horizon isn't, oh wow, AVAX, which is Avalanche's native token, but besides that, oh wow, it did a 1% downwards movement in the past 24 hours. That's not my time horizon. My time horizon, first of all, isn't hours, it's not days, it's not weeks, it's not months. It might have to be years, who knows? I mean, I don't know how long I'm gonna have to wait, but I'm just saying, I don't mind waiting because I actually like the fundamentals, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But I'm just saying, I don't mind waiting if I actually like the fundamentals. So when people like to say, oh wow, AVAX is around $9, yeah, okay, sure, it is. But at the end of the day, again, if anything, what that means to me is that, you know what? If it could go back to around $33, which we saw back in September 2025, I'm already going to Sizzler, right? So at the end of the day, again, I just don't necessarily view it as such a bad thing personally for me because I'm looking to dollar cost average. So if things could just return back to September 2025, I'm already going to Sizzler. That's the way to take a look at it. Personally for me, when people ignore something the most, when they don't really care about it the most, that's when I want to be more focused, because when things are not cared about, when people are leaving, what happens? Usually the charts are down. But personally for me, for hypothetical dollar cost averaging purposes only, then I wouldn't mind. That's the thing. However, even besides that, in terms of the community, when it comes to Avalanche, we have to consider, in terms of AVAX, it has around 160,000 holders. It's not the best, but that's a pretty massive community, in my opinion, or should I say a pretty massive amount of holders. Keep in mind, AVAX, when people like to say, but if it doesn't go back to its all-time high, it's so disappointing. Some people like to say that, in which case, if we take a look at its all-time high, yeah, sure, it's around $146 or around $9 as of right now. So clearly we're well over 10 times lower than that. But at the same time, if I take a look at that right there, do I really need it to go back to that? I would personally say no. The reason why is this. If Bitcoin went back to its all-time high, is it even 2 times lower than that as of right now? No, it's not. But a lot of people would already consider it to be like this very fantastic, victory if it were to do that. In which case, if let's say AVAX went back to where it once was in September of 2025, or over 3 times lower than that, imagine if Bitcoin was over 3 times lower than its all-time high and went back to that all-time high in a pure hypothetical, a lot of people would already think it's like the greatest thing of all time or whatever. So what if AVAX goes back to around $33, in which case we're over 3 times lower than that? That's considered bad. That's considered boring. But Bitcoin going back to its all-time high from where it is as of right now in a pure hypothetical, even though it's not 2 times lower than that, but then that's not considered boring, that's considered exciting? How does that make sense? In my opinion, if my intent is to hypothetically, like just to see AVAX go back to around $33, which we're over 3 times lower than that as of right now, like if by that movement alone, I'm already happy. Like let's say I don't need it to do any more than that. If let's say again, just with that specific movement, I'm already happy, then why would I even bother with a microcap? That's just the way to take a look at it. I mean, it's like, for instance, if my intent is to go from where I am as of right now to maybe, let's say, buy some McDonald's or buy some Popeyes or whatever, right? Let's say I want to go to Popeyes, which is my favorite fast food restaurant of all time, Popeyes. However, when it comes to like non-fast food restaurants, I would say Sizzler is my favorite. But besides that, if let's say I want to go to Popeyes or Sizzler, if let's say I have two options, either I can use like a Superman costume or like a Batman costume or a Spider-Man costume, right? And try to sprint there. Or I could use my car. What would I rather do? I'd rather use the car, right? I mean, why not take the path of least resistance, arguably, personally for me? Even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But that's just from going to my place to a restaurant. That's the way to take a look at it. But I'm just saying, if I kind of apply that same mentality hypothetically towards this space, why would I, believe in a microcap just to hypothetically see what? A 3x or whatever? Like, I mean, for what? Through a microcap trying to look for that? That's way too much like uncertainty for something that is like not even worth it for me personally. But I'm not even telling anyone to do anything. This is just purely my perspective. Like, again, if my goal is just to see something hypothetically go from around $9 to $33, like that just type of movement, basically, why would I look towards microcaps if that's the case? Like, that's the thing. Like, many projects out there in the top 100, they're over 3 times lower than where they were last year. Like, so what? I'm going to look for something that's ranked 2000th in the world within this space? Yeah, I don't want to do that currently, but I'm just saying, that's just my mindset as of right now, personally for me. But I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward when it comes to this, so hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. I just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Mali the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.